Hey everyone, this is Ashley with Ashley on Photography. I had a lot of interest in this before and after, so I'm going to go ahead and run through what I did to create this portrait. Here's the before and here's the after. So when I first brought up this image, it's an older session. It's actually one of the first maternity sessions I ever did. Just a little over a year and a half ago. I just wanted to test out this new plugin. So I started with that. The Flaming Pear Flood. And you can just Google it and download it. It's a 30-day free trial. And then I just started playing around with all of the options here. For height, let's see, where was that? Horizon, there we go. So this is about where I had it last time, but I did receive some feedback stating that they did not like the little bit of green on the right of her, so I'll probably bring it up just a little higher. That looks good. And then here you can play with the waviness. I like it less wavy. Complexity, meh. Brilliance, kind of like that. Blur. I didn't even play with that last time. Size of the ripples. Not seeing a whole lot of a difference there. Height. Not seeing a whole lot of difference there either. So we'll just go ahead and play with that. And it really was that simple. So the next step, I actually don't use actions a whole lot, even though I have about every single one you could ever want under the sun. There are some that I do really love. I actually started with one of the Greater Than Gatsby base foundations, the Complete Workflow. Actually, I don't even know if I've ever even played with this one before, but I hit play and it was pretty cool. So that's where I started on this one. If needed, I can kind of go through and do the steps of what this whole action could do. If anybody's interested in that, it's just a lot of curves, playing with tones, contrast, the things like that. Okay, so that's before. It just kind of adds in a little bit of color. There's the before and after. And I'm going to open this up. I believe I upped this just a little bit more light on her. This I think I drugged down just a little. That's the before and after to begin. Really awesome for one step. That's a great action. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten. And the next step is one of my most favorite actions ever. If you do not have this, buy it. If you do a lot of sky overlays, or even if you don't do a lot of them, I really recommend it because it is so super easy. You just hit sky extraction. And this little tool will kind of do all the hard work for us. And then apply overlay with options. Then I'm going to go to sky. And with the action set, you actually get over 90 skies from Pure Actions, and they're all super awesome. But I actually did end up using a different one. I actually believe a gal from the group, Photoshop and Lightroom, actually was selling these quite a while ago. Where is it? Let's see here. I believe it's AZ. Let's try that. Oh, where did they go? There we go. And I think it was this one. You're just going to drag this to fit up in the sky, and I actually drug it really, really big because I didn't like that big cloud kind of going through her. So I just drag it big enough to kind of get some of the colors in there. So you just hit enter, and it's going to work its magic. This action set is super easy for less complex skies without all this, but it's super easy to work with it as well. So I'm going to go up here. It's going to open up all of these little layers. Here's your sky layer. This is the extract mask. So that kind of, you can play with it that way. You can turn it on or off. If I were to keep it on and I want it to go in some places, you just make your brush black. Ooh. Make sure you're on the layer mask. And you would just kind of paint back the details there. Same it down here. So super easy. And then this, because there were some blown areas in her dress, it did apply on there. So I'm just going to take a black brush and I'm going to brush that off her dress. Some of her hair right here. Alright, so saturation up a little bit, warmth up a little bit. The bring back details too. If you want to have less of it, like on the trees or anything like that, you can kind of, oops, make sure you're on the mask. Well, let's not do it there. It would just take it off, is what that is. Okay, so on the sky layer, I'm going to increase the opacity just a little bit. So I'm just going to take my white brush and I'm going to run it around here. Brings it a little bit more color. Contrast. And then I'm going to darken it, put in some more color. So that's the sky. Actually, miss this area down here. Same with the extract. So I'm going to go back here, paint this on as well. Got some here on her belly. Oops. Make that white. Get that off the edges of her arms. I'm going to make it black. I'm going to fill in the areas by her hair. Oops. There's this area by her hair that's kind of bothering me. I'm going to lower the opacity. Oop. Now I'm just going to brush it off her arm. Right there. All right. There we go. There's our sky layer. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten. My next step is going to be using the exposure adjustment tool. I'm going to slide this offset bar forward. It's going to give that really soft matte feeling, and then I'm going to take my gamma correction and I'm going to slide that forward as well, which is going to bring back some of the depth and darkness. See, it just gives it a lot more depth, a deeper color. And then I'm going to brush that off her. Have her kind of stand out. There we go. I'm going to add some contrast. And again, I'm going to brush that off her. I just want to brighten her up just a little bit. Curves. I'm going to invert this. So with low opacity, kind of brush that on around her. I want to do it gradually. It just kind of lightens up the area around her. The channel mixer, when checking monochrome, is just going to give you the ability to, it's essentially a way to add contrast. Kind of just mess with this. And then you go to layers. I'm going to change that to soft light, and it's going to be a really, really harsh contrast. So I normally just lower that down to about 15%, and I invert it. I'm going to paint that on her. Actually, no. I'm going to brush all the way up. Kind of a way to use dodge and burn, I guess, which I do also. Just makes our pop a little bit more. There we go. I flatten a lot. I know a lot of people are against that. All right. Now, my next step is to bring out color where I want to bring out color. So I'm going to do a new layer. I'm going to do soft light, hit OK. I'm going to sample this green here, and I'm just going to make it a little bit darker. And at about 30–40%, I'm just going to paint this on the areas I want to bring out the color. A lot of times I don't like the yellow green, so what I'll do as well is I'll go to selective color, and I choose my yellows, and I'll just add cyan. And it kind of takes some of that yellow muckiness out of the greens and just makes it a little greener. And then I'll do invert that and just paint it on my greens where I want it. Back to this. I'm actually going to choose one of the orangey tones as well and make it real dark. I'm just going to paint this in. Whoops. I'm going to lower the opacity here. Actually about 17%. Just paint this in certain areas. Can do the same thing down here. Make it a little warmer and deeper. So that just kind of adds color where I want it. Another great tool as well that I really love, it's in the Florabella Muse Action set. It is the Vibrant Color Brush. And I'll take that at 100% for the background. And it just adds depth and color. And then at about 20% or so, I'll paint on my subject. And then I'll drop that. Just adds in that nice rich color. I'm going to go ahead and flatten. So there are a few different ways that you can add your sunburst. I find it super easy just to revert back to the Florabella Color and Light Action set. And I use the Soft Warm Sun Glow. It's always kind of off to the side here. And I want to drag that where I want it. About there. Hit enter. And drop that down to about 40% or so. And then I'll actually replay that one more time. Drag it over. Make it a bit smaller. Drag that down to about 20% or so. Actually a little more. You don't want it to be too distracting. Okay, now I'm just going to add some more softness again. So I'm going to do my offset And then my gamma correction. And again, I am going to paint that off her. I'm going to take my levels and just add a little bit more depth. And again, take that off her. There you go. I'm actually going to take a little bit of this off in some of the shadows, just so you don't completely lose the contrast from that. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and flatten again. Another action I love is in the Greater Than Gatsby Radiance collection. It's just super simple, easy vignettes. Do the dark green just to pull focus to her. I'm going to turn that all the way up, and I'm going to remove it from the places I don't want it. Down here, don't really want any up here. I'm going to remove it from our eyelids. Again, contrast. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and flatten that. Now I'm going to do dodge and burn. And you can use dodge and burn a million different ways. You can make, with curves, you can make a layer that goes really, really bright with your midtones and your contrast, and then the opposite where you pull that middle bar down. Again, to save time, I just use this, the dodge and burn brushes from Florabella. First, I'm going to do my darken, and I'm going to darken the areas on her cheeks, underneath her chin, underneath her arms, right here, all the shadowed areas essentially. A little bit there, and then I'm going to take my lighten brush. I'm going to use it right here on her chin, on the bridge of her nose, across her forehead. Lower the opacity to right under here, under her cheekbones, and right here. I'm going to bring that down to about 20. I'm going to bring this down to about 30%. There we go. New group from layers. I'm just going to do this just so I can show you the effect that had. Just adds dimension to her. I'm going to drop that down just a little bit. Another one I like to use is under the Florabella Retouch and Makeover. It's just a sharpening brush. Again, very doable on your own. But I'm just going to sharpen her eyes, mouth. There we go. I didn't do any skin smoothing on my original, but if I were, I'd use the Greater Than Gatsby Innocent Retouch. Smoother, no detail. And paint this on. Low opacity brush. I think for the most part, that's all I did. Oh, actually, I think I did at the very end adjust my curves again, or I'm sorry, my levels. Invert. And just kind of in some of the corners. Just add that depth as well. Oh, I do remember one other step. I'm going to do new layer again, soft light. Go. Actually, going to pull that color out of her hair. Very, very low opacity brush, 10–15% or so. And just barely paint that on. Let's do a little more. Back up. Drop that down. And just kind of pops the color in her hair a little bit. Okay, and I'm done. Before and after. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm sorry I probably spoke really low the whole time. I'm working on that. I'll try to speak louder next time. If you have any questions, oh, actually I did crop it just a little bit. Not that it's going to make that big of a difference. There we go. If you have any questions at all, let me know, and I will try to do some more tutorials as I can. Thanks again.